Good morning everyone, welcome to the channel. Welcome if you're new. I'm Stacy and today we are going to be doing a peacock drawing. We're going to do a little mixed media. I have out my Qor watercolor palette and one of my color cube cards of this really beautiful peacock. And I have a range of colored pencils that I picked in accordance with this palette. These are my Castle Arts metallic watercolors, or metallic pencils. They're not watercolor pencils, they're just metallic pencils. Yeah, I went ahead and sketched this out with my mechanical pencil on a little bit of watercolor paper. It's 90-pound watercolor paper, which is not my favorite, but I do have a little stash of it and I really do want to get through it. So, keeping that in mind, let's get out my Princeton Neptune round number 8. It's getting a little raggedy. Might be time to buy myself a new paintbrush. And I just want to drop in some local color to see if we can't establish a base. Let's maybe clean some of this up a little bit. Almost dipped it in my coffee. And let the morning begin. A little bit of this green gold. Yeah, that's pretty. Alright. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. We're just gonna drop in a light, and this is to put something to put the water or the metallic colored pencils over the top of. Just a little glaze of colors. There's a lot of textures over here on this tail, so instead of just blocking it in, I'm going to go ahead and put in some of the textures with the green gold. Okay, fan that out a bit. Some more of those. Textures between the eyes of those feathers. I just don't want to fill in all the white right away. I don't think that's necessary. Let's grab some more green gold. Let me fan out my brush a bit. Probably could go in with a fan brush to do this part, to get those textures in. I've pulled a number of these cards and prepared to prepare for videos, and these color cube cards really are quite nice when you don't know what you want to paint, but you want to paint something, you want to draw, you just or at a loss, you can just open the box and pull a card and go for it. I think I'm going to use this blue, but I want it to be pure, so I think I'm going to do that and wipe up this spot. of the palette. Probably should have cleaned the palette before I started. So we want pure blue. This is pretty, right? Yeah, that's really pretty. Okay. Maybe mix with a little bit of ultramarine, just because ultramarine's naturally granulating, and there's some really pretty textures on the bird. And we'll go ahead and maybe a little water. Lock in the blue on our bird, and then we can put textures on top with our colored pencils. This is a nice way to work. Also, if you don't have a lot of time, but you really want to do a nice, pretty finished piece. Oh, sorry, traffic. It's morning. Everyone's on their way to work. You want to do a nice finished piece, but you don't have a lot of time. Blocking in your colors like this will help with all of that. Get him blocked in right there. I think I got him a little too narrow on the bottom there. Once again, get in some of those textures. A little too dark right there. Pick some of that up. A nice shiny spot on his head and on his chest right there. Okay. And then maybe a little bit of ochre on some of these. Like that. Not all the way to the edge because there's a little yellow bit on the edges. And just lightly, gently, go ahead and put that base in. Once again, something to put the colored pencil on top of. Like that. This is pretty much pure pigment on paper, very little water, just kind of dragging it around. It's been a long time since I've attempted a peacock again. I've tried and failed miserably in the past. I don't know, he just struck me as a good project idea for today. There. Get these guys in. Like that. Okay. I think maybe touch of this green. It's Viridian, which is not my favorite green on the planet. Maybe if we mix some of the Viridian with the blue, it'll help. Yeah, that's better. I don't really care for Viridian, but I don't want to not use it because it's in the palette. So if I mix it with something else, it's less Viridian. Viridian is just not my favorite color. And I'm going to go ahead and plop in a little bit here. So there's a touch of green back there. Do I want to do this with paint or do I want to do this with pen? I think I'm going to do it with pencil. I think that'll be too much. Maybe? I don't know. See, indecisive. Maybe just little tints down here of green. And this is just between the little eye things. That's sort of how I think of them. Little circular portions of the feathers. Alright, that might be enough watercolor for today. Yeah, we're going to get into the pencils now. Because I think this is, yeah, the blue's pretty close to dry. So maybe, yeah, we'll just go for it. Let's start with this guy, which is Azure Blue. Is this dry enough yet? Yeah. You can barely see that over the top. Maybe it's not quite dry enough. I'm going to take the heat tool to it. There we go. That's better. That's better. Let's go in bold. Let's go in bold. Oh, this the tip of this broke. That's my sapphire one. Let's see if we can, I guess that. That's frustrating. That's alright. We needed this one anyways. This is the one. This is the way. I'm going to go in. I'm going to zoom in so you can see a little better what I'm doing here. And this is a Pixabay picture. So if you look up Peacocks on Pixabay, you'll be able to pop this guy up. Or Unsplash. Pretty sure he's on Pixabay. Most of her color cube card photos were from Pixabay. just want to keep texture. It's very dark over here. This is on the side of the pencil here. This is very dark. There's a bit of shadow at the bottom edge right here. So we're going to go ahead and block that in right through there. And we've got a bunch of, whoops, let's scoop my paint out of the way a little bit. Deep shadows over here in this corner. And then down here on his body, side of the pencil, and just let some of the texture of that paper do the work for me. See, that's nice, right? Let's see where it's too light right through here. We'll get in with the tip of the pencil. Get that filled in just a bit. Especially on the bottom of the page. Right through there. Oh, coffee maker's decided to turn itself off. I'm done with you. And I don't want to fill it all in because he's got lots of nice textures. He's very pretty. But this edge right here is pretty dark. Through here. This whole edge of him is very, very dark. I did get out a black as well. I just don't know if I'm going to use it or not just yet. Up in here. Get that. Through here. Got a bit of nice dark coloring. Shadow under that neck area because his head is kind of resting downwards in front of his neck, so we definitely want to convey that. Get in there, working in tiny, tiny circles right here because it is pretty finished through there. I did get blue. Oh, nice. That covers really nice where there needs to be a bit of gold. This is my Vegas yellow. This is one of my favorite colors in the box of colored pencils. I do like a little bling. See, that's pretty, and these cover really nice. There, and then right through here is another bit of yellow, and then just a bit over that eye, over the top of that eye, like that. I don't want to get too dark up here. I really did want to use this color that's bugging me. I have to pick a different one. Something a little more vibrant, maybe? Do I have more? Well, the metallics are pretty, let's pull them out. They're pretty muted colors, as you, whoops, come here, As you can see, there are not very many brights, so just using just the metallics is a challenge, which is why I went ahead and put in the watercolor base, just so that we'd have it. There we go. Now the textures, I want there to be that glow of many layered tiny baby bitty bitty feathers up here, so little C's, little upside down, sideways C's, kind of like mermaid scales or something, I guess you could think of it as, like that, to give that. Am I zoomed in enough? Is that better? That's probably better. Just to give the illusion of many feathers and that crystally sparkle, that shiny sparkle that's up there. When we put in our darks, which we could do a little bit of purple on him too. This is amethyst. Ooh. In the dark, in the shadow areas. Ooh, that tip. The tippy tip, I just sharpened these before the video started. So my tip is going to break here and there, I guess. Go ahead and put amethyst in the super dark spots. Right up against that gold. And that purple next to that gold should make that pop a bit. And then there. And just a couple dark spots up here. Just a few. Look at that. I think that's good. I feel the need to get that eye in there, so let's grab this dark blue again. This is the Prussian blue, very nice blue. And put in our darks next to the gold, gently. Don't want to bump over my gold. And then our eye. Right there. Pretty dark underneath that eye as well, but not completely. So I'm just going to do that for now. I like that. I think that looks nice. See. And once again, colored pencil textures of colored pencils on, especially fur animals, feathers and stuff. Coffee is really pleasing. I like it a lot. So, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put the gold on top of this beak as well. It's not gold, it's more of a ochre, but I'm really digging the colored pencils right now, so I'm doing it. Just give a little base layer in. I'm going to leave a couple of, I'll leave the paper peeking through a couple spots for shine. Not completely, but peeking. Go ahead and get in those bold colors. Okay, and then take our purple maybe, the amethyst, and get in some shadow work like that. This little nostril situation. I mean, he's got to breathe, right? Like that, just light, super light. Like that. Yeah, that's pretty. I'm going to go ahead and put in a little amethyst underneath that neck as well. Over the top of that Prussian. Like that. Okay. And then I would like a little bit of it down here as well. His feathers are more fur-like down here, so getting those straight lines quickly. It doesn't need to be perfect. There's a little lot of purple grading out from that Prussian. Soften that gradation right there. Yeah, I like that better. Give it a bit more form. It's nice. And you can take your time and go super slow and get in all your textures very slowly, bit by bit if you wish, which is generally how I work with colored pencils. While I'm watching TV or listening to a book, and I go very slow, and this is quick work. Quick work, do it quick. Especially the watercolor kind of brings you a long way too as a base color. It gives you all that dark that you need. I don't feel like this is dark enough over here yet. But I'm going to wait until we get in some of the textures of his little green spot back there, that green gold back there. Quickly get in these indications of form and line like that. The watercolor got away from me a little bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and embrace a little bit of that right there. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay. Just a little bit more right there. Okay, and then let's take our, I guess this one, what is this, azure? Which didn't really, the azure kind of super matches the watercolor that I used. There. I'm gonna take the black. And go ahead and get in a little bit of darks over here. This edge and this. This edge right here. circular shape to fill in a little bit of the texture of the paper. This bottom part, there aren't any sparkly lights going on in that fur. Like that. Yeah, that helps give a little more form to our piece, to our guy. Like that. We'll do a little bit up here. Just a bit. Up here. And just a bit through here. That's more dramatic. I dig it. Okay. A little more drama. A little more drama. It's just what we all need in our lives, right? Get in here and get in a little bit of these textures like that. There's all kinds of stuff happening back here. I'll mute this back here in this corner. Where all the colors of his world blend together and get pretty dark. Like that. I'm going to leave that like that for now. And then over here, I'm going to do a little bit of the same. Not too much though, because this is in light. The feathers are just overlapping so much that it reads pretty dark. Sorry. Between those little, I don't know, the little center stalks on a feather. And just some cross hatching will help. You don't need to get too carried away. Will help with conveying the feeling. Right? Of many textures. Many textures. We can just go through and with the black, put in those quickly, quick, just skimming over the page, doing a little bit of hatching, maybe a touch of cross hatching here and there, just for added dimension, and because we have the other colors to use too, remember, so we don't want to get too carried away. But there is tons and tons of texture back here. And they're more curved as well. Like that. Yeah, kind of dig that. And if you're, I'm not going to turn the page because for video's sake, but if you're not getting your lines going in the direction you want, ooh, startled me. Oh, my phone's attacking. You can turn your page. You don't have to tweak your wrist or your hand. You just spin your page to get your lines to go in the directions you need. like that. And then do more of it over here. Super quick. I mean, we could take so much time getting in every little nuanced, every little line, every little... I mean, some people really love to work like that, super slow, corner to, you know, little bit to little bit, and I do. I have. I'm not saying it is a bad way to work, but this video would be so very long if I did that. Well, generally, colored pencil pieces take quite a long while if you're going to be patient and try to do that, you know. Go ahead and get in some other direction lines, remembering that I have other colors to put on top. So I don't want to get too carried away with the dark. There's quite a bit of dark, but we don't want to, you know, don't get too carried away. And then there. There. And there's our texture lines. Looks crazy, right? But it helps give that rounded feeling, that fanning out feel. So I like that. It's our black, actually. I'm gonna do just a bit of matte black. This is a not metallic pencil, this black. My metallic black, it keeps breaking. I've sharpened it and sharpened it and sharpened it, and now it's a shorty. Not that this black isn't, but now it's like super short. And yeah, that's the only pencil I've had issue with it breaking at all. See a little drama going right through here. Just a touch right here. See, the bird part is done pretty much. And then we can set the black down. Let's get in here with our gold. And mind you, not covering everything. Let some of those light marks shine through. We did put the watercolor down to help us, so let's let it help you. Go ahead and put in bits of gold. And the paper texture is such that I could probably just give this a coat of this gold, yeah. And it's going to let all that yellow ochre underneath sparkle through. So that's nice. This is that Vegas yellow color. like that. And then we can go ahead and pop in some little fan shapes, right? Once again, could take hours, right? Days, weeks, months, years. I'm sure there are people out there that have taken years on a colored pencil piece just because of how big it is. Because you're seeing how long this little, and I'm rushing, this little bit of colored pencil is taking. If I was going slow, this would probably take me, I don't know, 8 hours or so. And I'd have to take breaks because my hand would, you know, you don't want to kill your hand. Not that I'm pressing hard, I'm really not. Go ahead. Get in some roundy shapes. Let's see how much texture that gave us already on the back of that. See, lots and lots of textures. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of green. Let's use this softer looking, this more, NB is the name of this one. Of course it is. Go over the top of this a little bit, this green that I put down on his back. Just a touch of it in the body, here and there. Just a bit. You can hardly tell on the camera, but just a skimming. Okay. And there's just a hint of green coming up from the base of the feathers. That's what it looks like to me. That's what I'm doing. Like that. Just for a little bit of visual interest. Those feathers looking like feathers, right? Just a bit here and there. You don't have to do all of them because your eye is going to fill in and take care of visually what your brain needs. Your brain and your what you know about feathers and mermaid scales, those kinds of textures, will assume that's what this is. I mean, of course, here and there you want to definitely get that shape in. Like that point. And then we're going to take the top little ridges are all a little metallic green. They're very sparkly. So get a little direction going on like that. Not too close together down there, but that's alright. I'm turning the pencil because these are pretty soft colored pencils. Trying to keep my point pointy. Maybe if we skim. And do little bitty C shapes. Trying to just go over the graphite that I've already put down. Purposely get that mermaid tail thing going on. Especially back here. Like that. Oh, of course my battery's gonna die. That. Okay. Actually, yeah, let's switch it up. And use a bit darker green. Here and there. Mind you, not on all of them, but enough of them to convey that textures. Little dashes, just little dashes like that. And we can go in with the gold, get in that darker bit on the one side. Here and there. I think I'd like to use some of the dragon orange as well. You guys get the gist, right? Okay. Maybe a little bit of dragon orange out here. I'm putting dragon orange in here because I'm going to put it on those the bigger feathers on the outside. And I think I'd like to incorporate it into all those lines as well. But for now, I'm gonna use the gold to put in some of these lines. They kind of overlap. Visually they're white, but I don't know how that I would convey that at this point. So I'm going to use the gold and just drop into the direction lines here and there. Like that. Up here. Like that right there. This I'm going to turn the page just so that I get them going in the right direction. That. Here. Like that. Good. Yep, dig it. And then I'm going to take my green. I'm going to go ahead and start getting in the green bits on these eye things. They're green blue kind of. And each one has a little, they're not perfect, they come out like that. And then the gold, is that too, that's a little too, I might have to grab like a regular yellow. Or a bright green. Yeah, a bright green would be helpful. This is Castle Green in the colored pencil selection. Do we want to do that? Yep. Sure do. Yeah, that's going to finish that off nicely. Okay, cool. And we have the, let's see, bright blue. That's not bright enough. Let's do this one. This is cobalt turquoise for our middle bit, and then I don't know which one I want to use. The dragon orange, maybe? I'm not going to fill it in, I just want to make the lines like that. Not filled in all the way. Pop that in first, maybe, on each one, so that we can work around it without obliterating it. Like that. Add that little pop of color. On each one of these, like so. Which is very nice. And then we'll go through with the other colors and delineate shape. Right? Whoops. Stop rolling around. And then if we have to go back in with that, we can. And we can go ahead and get in our turquoise color down here on each one. Kind of goes all the way around. That upper shape. Like that. Like that. Like that. So I should have sharpened this pencil real quick. But that's alright. Okay. How's that looking? Yeah, I'm kind of digging it. Like that. Okay. Got my shapes a little off over here, but that's alright. We can fix it now instead of worrying about it later. That. See, it's coming together, right? Just gotta put the shapes in kind of the right direction. Okay, there's the turquoise. We'll go over maybe this guy. Is that dark enough? Nope. Not even close. Get our dark spot in. Like that. It's not perfectly round, so you don't have to worry about that. And just kind of blob it in. Make sure it overlaps the turquoise a little bit. And fill in all the white of the page, because it does not have a sparkle in it. Like that. And kind of scribble it in a little bit. Nice and dark. This is that Prussian blue. It's a really perfect blue in the collection. To me. I really love it. It's one of my faves. Go ahead. I'm pressing pretty hard. Like to the point where my wrist is rebelling. But I have a little bit of tenderness in my wrist right now. Too much keyboarding. Yoga is helping. It's helping strengthen the wrist and arm situation. Oh yeah, that's coming along. Okay. So that's all of our dark spots. And I don't really need this blue right now. Let's get in some of our greens. Around the edges here. There's a space, and then there. Change my battery here pretty quickly, which is another reason why I'm working so fast. Little start to get in some of those other textures around. Kind of like that. And then over the top of that, to lend a little bit of bright, I can go in with this brighter green, like that. Yeah, I did that. And we have a lot of overlapping textures over here in the region. Alright, so I'm going to take a little break. I've got to log in for work, get a fresh cup of coffee, and stretch this hand out because It is getting a little tender. Alright, you guys will see me in a hot second. Okay guys, I am back. We're going to go ahead and finish up this drawing. I don't remember what color I was using last. I think I was using the greens, right? The teal is in. I was going around with the greens to get in our green textures all the way around. I wanted a bright yellow, but I'm going to go in with the gold instead. I think I like it better. Yeah, that's pretty. Okay. There is a rim of light. Maybe we can use this. Like right through here, there's a light rim of yellow. Kind of between the brown and the green. So we're just going to push that in really quickly. Create a little light barrier between. I'm not going to see it over here as deeply because this side's in shadow, but we can still drop it in because it is still there, it's just not as prominent. I'm going to put this one in, kind of just scribbling. Like that. There. Okay. Oops, missed one. Got this guy over here. Oh, and this guy up here. Almost forgot. Almost forgot him. Alright. We'll maybe come in with the pale green first. Kind of keep our brights bright. Don't want to not put it on these, since I've already got it on the other ones. I'm going this darker one, and some color, and then don't forget our textures. Don't forget those direction lines around the feathers. They're very, if you've ever held one of these feathers, they're I don't even know what you'd call these little hair things kind of go around, and they're gonna overlap, and there are gonna be some behind going in every direction, some longer, some shorter, but that's where you're getting that texture. Kind of up like that, from down below, like that. That. Oh, sorry, I was out of frame. Sorry. Kind of come around and up and around, and they overlap the other elements, so don't be afraid to do that. And then all the texture underneath from all the other feathers overlapping. So we get some sort of texture like that. See the corner here? All kinds of textures. Kind of dig it. The thing I'm missing is that light line, which should have been the white of the paper, but kind of obliterated it. So maybe I can steal some shine back with this Prismacolor white like that. Maybe. Like that. And they kind of overlap each other too. It's kind of just blending all of my other colors, but still lending a decent enough line. I guess we could go over it with some bleed-proof white if we wanted to when we were done. Kind of not digging how it's graying things out and making it look dirty. But because I did it over here, I don't want to not do it over here, because then it looks like a mistake instead of an intention. So there, we'll just do that. Okay. And just get in some bright colors as well here and there. Not going to use lines, I'm just going to kind of mist it in over the top of all the other lines. Let those textures speak for themselves. Get in some of this. Yeah, maybe color in this corner a little bit. That. Maybe the textures are just too much. What do you think? I kind of like it next to the gold, and it makes him more prominent to me. So I'm just going to keep going with what I'm doing. Kind of doing the mist of this green on the top. So, ooh, let's switch back to this other green. Oh, I need to get in our other bright spots in the feather, like that. Okay. trying to work pretty quickly because this is a lot of information to convey in just one, hopefully less than an hour long video. I've been trying to consciously keep my videos at around 30 to 50 minutes, and if I do go over, it's due to, well, it's due to the fact that I can't convey the information in such a short amount of time. There we go. That in. All the directions from both feathers. So I don't want to get too dark back here because that'll make his head look weird. Big picture, you know. Look at that. I'd like to put in a little bit of gold here and there as well. That's neat, right? I'm kind of digging it. Let's get in there. Just our bits of green over here. Oh, what possessed me to do a colored pencil peacock? It's a lot. It's a lot of information. I thought maybe the watercolor would fill in more, but the more I'm working, the more I'm realizing that maybe I should have gone with a different subject matter, less detailed, less action going on in the textures and the elements within the bird itself. Coming down like that, coming out like that. These are actually, we've got stuff crisscrossing. We've got all kinds of things going on. Top of this one. This one coming out from back there. So there's lots of stuff going on, and as long as you get the main direction of the textures going, you know, in a sensible way, it'll read right. Right, see? And I'm kind of, which one was I liking? Bright green. I was liking that misting of bright green over the top. Kind of just scribble a little coat of bright green. I can smell my potatoes. I'm making dinner. Just gently like that. Mist over bright green around this guy. Pop that in. And skim this over here. A little darker over here, since this is all in shadow anyways. Through here, kind of in between these, there's a little shadowy. Quickly, because this video is going to be 1,000 hours long if I don't pick it up. Pick it up! Alright. Let's come in here and get in some golden textures. Like that. Underneath all of our greens. Are we in frame? Forgot to look. I get carried away pretty soon. I've got the page all down under my chin and my head's in the camera. I'm not paying attention to my surroundings. Chaos, I tell you, chaos. Okay, and then our last little, don't want to forget all of our greens. Hardly looking at the reference photo, just glancing at it here and there at this point. This guy's dark bit in. Like that. How crazy is that? Super busy. I'm digging it though. Anybody else really digging it? Usually when I look at all these feathers in the reference photo, cause I mean, geez. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to draw that. I don't want to do that today. So all the white filtering through all the marks really looks nice. It's very effective. Because you can see these more browns. I did mine more greens. Which I think is just as effective. This is amethyst. I don't know if I want to... Maybe we'll just gently put amethyst in down on this side where things are more in shadow. We'll just do a light misting, like a see-through gauzy misting of color over the top of all of our marks to throw this side a little bit in shadow like that. Did that work? A little. Maybe. Like that. Like that. Okay. What do I think? I think I want to stop. I think if I do too much more, it's just going to make it look very muddy. I do wish this had a little more sparkle on it, like iridescence, I guess, but I don't want to put iridescent paint on this because it doesn't show up when you scan anyways. Maybe just some pure touches of just pure bright yellow in spots. on that too. I like that. And he does have his little weird things that come up off their head, but you can barely tell they're there. So I feel like if I put those in now, it won't look right. It'll look odd. Do a little bright misting on these. Is that reading? It is to my eye, like a lot. Pretty pure color, pretty dry brush. And just misting in on top of all that colored pencil. Like that. I made those pop a bit. Almost stuck that in my bowl of chips. And then maybe just a skosh. No, that's too much. Just a tint. Just a tint of green down there. Kind of fill that in a bit down there. Maybe just a bit over here as well. Oh, too much paint on the brush. I did not use the water soluble. I didn't think these were water soluble. Oh, a little sticky once they're wet. Alright, I'm going to stop fussing with it and leave it alone because I'm going to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it, right? I'm already fussing too much right there. I'm ruining that spot. It did look pretty, now it just looks super messy. Alright, look at that. Prussian. Yeah. It does have a little bit of a shine here and there. Oh, you probably can't tell. Block this back in where I got it way too light through there. Oh, that bugs me now. That bugs me now. All of this isn't pretty shadowed by his body. So we'll just do that real quick. Alright, I'm going to leave it alone. I shouldn't have wet it right here, but that's okay. That's alright. And his eye does not have an eye shine on it, but I like it with the eye shine. See, here's our reference photo, up close and personal. And there's my rendition of this piece. I kind of dig it. Yeah, I kind of dig it. It's got a little, like where the colored pencil layers are thick on those spots, have a little bit of shine. And I like the face. I like the face a lot. What do you guys think? Are we digging all the textures and colors? I kind of like it. Alright. You let me know what you think in the comments below. These are all the colors that we used. I started out with just a few and ended up with quite a bit more. And then our palettes and our brush. We'll zoom out so you can see what we used. There we go. That's all the stuff we used for today's video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for being here and watching and participating. And don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.